I make it a point of being there for my students. They know that there's people like myself there that have their backs through situations, because education is family oriented.
Presented by Sacramento Educational Cable Consortium. You're listening to Lights, Camera, Learn. Welcome to another episode of Lights, Camera, Learn. Our guest today is Dennis Weaver, a teacher and a coach at Highlands High School, right here in Twin River School District in Sacramento. And Dennis, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you and I met at your school, and I got to see some of your classes. And you mentioned something to me that I thought was a great way to open that, and that is that you see yourself as a creator more than you see yourself as a teacher.
Yes, sir.
And explain that to me.
Okay, so teachers do teach. That's the old adage, right?
Yeah.
But creators create, and then they foster teaching. So I have to create something first that didn't exist before, right? And then I take that creation and I show it off to the masses, or I teach it to the masses, or I say, hey, I created this.
Sure.
Do you like it? And if they say yes, usually there's a price point involved depending on what industry you're in. But
Right.
in teaching, oh man, that's really cool. Can you show me how you did it? So that's where the teaching evolves into it. But as a creator, being in the industry, doing things like that, that comes first. It's going to always come first. You're going to always be passionate about the things that you make and do first. And then if you get to be as lucky as I am to teach it, that's the cool part.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So talk a bit about your experience then in the media business. What does that look like?
Well, I am a performing recording artist. I am a self-taught savant. I grew up in the time frame where we did not have the internet, YouTube, and things like that. There were manuals, and you had to guessipate to what they were trying to get you to do.
Sure.
But I have done my fair share of music recording, filmmaking, music videos. I've done digital media for clients, artwork, album covers, business brochures, you name it. I've done everything, self-taught like my father, to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much a jack of all trades.
And you're also a coach.
Yes, I do coach.
Okay.
So I'm currently coaching tennis for Highlands High School as we currently speak.
Right. So what, giving all the things that you do and have been involved with, Dennis, what got you into education?
A good friend of mine who was the vice principal at the time, he came to me and he said, I heard your stuff. I've seen your music. Would you mind teaching this to the kids if you had the opportunity? And I said, yes, because they were going to give me full autonomy to do that.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got out of college and I came back from being overseas, as the overseas basketball players are, I got into Project Pipeline.
Okay.
Schwarzenegger was still the governor at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I was the last person in. And I was working on an English credential at the time.
Okay.
So I think it was the greatest thing that happened now in hindsight that Schwarzenegger shut the whole thing down.
Why is
because
that?
I would have been an English teacher and not on this path of being this person. But several years later, my VP comes to me. He's now the principal. He comes to me and says, Mr. Weaver, would you mind teaching this to students? I said, absolutely. I have no problem with it. So what started as an after-school club turned into me getting the right credentials. And then from that, I teach 6 classes and run camps and, everything else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, like I said, I had an opportunity to see the setup that you've got there. You have several classrooms, like you just said, you're teaching 6 classes. How did you make that happen, and how long did it take you to get there?
The way that the classes are set up is what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
A lot of patience and a lot of time. Years, decade, if not, a little over a decade it took to get there. I remember telling my principal what my vision, what my goal was for the space. and it evolved into one classroom, and then from that it evolved into the next classroom, the next classroom. So now I have these spaces, and it's like, how do I get these spaces to be model hubs of the areas in industry that would be used and facilitate?
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm taking my students on trips to Cal State Monterey Bay. As I told you, I feel like they have one of the best film programs, pound for pound, dollar for dollar in California. And we walk in, and there's this big warehouse, and it's all green.
Is this floor to ceiling green?
Floor to ceiling green.
And you've got a class like that.
And that's what inspired that classroom. I said, my kids have to be able to work in those mediums. So you see it, and then a lot of it is, thank God for budgets and grant money to allocate towards facilities.
Yeah.
I learned early on that acquiring hardware and equipment is not always the best use of your money, right?
Yeah.
So in the hood, or growing up black, they told you all money ain't good money when you're playing dominoes, and it's kind of that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm acquiring equipment. Younger me, he didn't know any better. I'm acquiring equipment because I'm in the industry. I'm in these studios, so I'm seeing what these producers are using.
Makes sense.
And so I'm getting this equipment, and it's so good of equipment that the company shut down because they're one-offs.
Oh,
you know,
right.
So I don't want to age myself too much, but you know, I'm using the same. I'm going and buying the same piano, all-inclusive piano computers that I seen Timberland use or Teddy Riley use. You know,
yeah.
And it's like, no, it has to be future-proof. And so then you start to realize that everything that you do for the students, you want to make sure that that group that's with you now gets the benefit of using it, right?
Yeah.
But you also want to make sure that it's future-proof, because you never know when money's going to run out, allocation's not going to be there. Anything can happen. We went through COVID.
Right.
So you don't know what's in the cards. It is literally a day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year basis. But I got smart, and I said, instead of me spending my money on equipment, because I've said I future-proofed it, I started stacking the equipment, getting the cameras, lenses, everything that I need, recording stuff, everything that I needed. I got enough. Right now, this is going to be able to get me by for a year, maybe 2, maybe even 3 if I have to stretch it. And so now when I'm getting my budget money, I'm spending my budget money on renovating the rooms, bringing them up to industry standards for the 21st century,
right,
and getting them out of the 1980s. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Painting walls, putting carpet in, putting soundproofing in, getting the right desks and equipment that supports all of that stuff that we're using. So,
well, you know, and what I thought was interesting, so the 4 rooms, and if I remember right, you've got the green screen room,
yes,
it's all green. Then you got the esports room that has like top of the line game chairs, consoles. I mean, any kid that was a gamer or adult that would go in there would go, oh my God, you're never going to get me out of here, right? And then you've got an editing room, right? And then the other one's like a production room.
Yes, it's like, you know, your table talk room, so to speak. Yes.
Yeah,
so, and like I said, every room is set up. It serves a purpose, and I utilize them that way.
Right.
So
what would you've got the coaching going on, you've got your media production and music on the side, you got the music or the teaching. What does a typical day look like for you? And then how do you keep it all organized?
All right. Well, my wife will see this eventually, and so will my kids, and they will tell you that this is the God honest truth. For me, and you add in the fact that we have 4 dogs now. So,
oh my gosh. Okay. Okay.
But the average day for me is I get up anywhere between 6:30 and 7:30, depending on the day of the week, because I teach a 0 period as well for kids that are credit deficient. I'm all about giving the youth, our students, every opportunity to graduate. That means the most to me. Walk that stage. Not everybody's made for college. But I do try to teach them the skills that so they can make money while they're in high school now. Correctly, honestly. But so I get up, get dressed, I get to work. I teach all 6 periods. I don't have a prep. I choose not to have a prep, so let me put that out there. If you're watching, I'm not being forced to work on my prep. I choose to not have a prep. I want to make sure I'm available for the students at all times. My days are littered with head against the wall, me banging my head against the wall from time to time because I make these lesson plans that I think I'm going to kill them with it, and I fail. And that's the best part of teaching is you try it. It's like a stand-up comic. You try this joke. It doesn't work. You have to rewrite the joke or break the joke down, and then finally you get the audience. So I fail, and then I succeed with the lessons. I finish the school day, and then depending on the time of year, if I'm coaching a sport or that particular sport, you move on to practice. So I usually am at the school site on a typical day from anywhere between 7:30 or 8 to about 6. Depending. I'm there all day. I get home and I like to cook, so I have to hurry up and cook dinner. That's not really hard now because my kids are grown. I have 22 and 20, so it's easier now. Greet the dogs. They're always the happiest to see you, not the humans, but I'm just joking.
No,
but, the dogs are, they love you. You hit the corner, they know when you're there, they're waiting on you, tails wagging, smiling faces. You can be gone for
15 minutes, like 5 years for them.
So after I do that and, wife and everybody goes to bed, then I spend the rest of my night being creative. So I might be up until 2 or 3 in the morning working on either a lesson plan or two, or working on a film that I'm working on, or a record for an album that I need to do, or a verse that somebody is asking me to do for their their project or video. So I can't turn it off. I can't turn it off. I try, and I end up. Sometimes I get upset with, not like mad upset, but I just get upset. I tell my wife, do not if I fall asleep on this couch during the day, like let's say it's a Saturday or Sunday, do not let me sleep past a certain time because I will be up for the rest of the night. I just can't turn it off.
I hear you. I'm the same way. Yeah. So before you got into education, then you were doing media and music, right?
Yes.
So how did that come about? Was there something in your upbringing, somebody who mentored you into that, or how did
Great question. I come from a musical family. One of my uncles, my Uncle Jerry, he was really, really dynamic. He was the one that made it big. He was the one that did records with Janet. I think he produced Janet Jackson's first album. He toured with the likes of like Aretha Franklin. He had a group called Fourth Wonder. Is it Fourth Wonder? I always get that mixed up. Fourth Wonder or Fourth Dimension, doesn't matter. He was a solo artist. So I remember him vaguely because he was gone a lot and we didn't get to see him that often. I met him like where I remembered meeting him. I think it was around 10 or 11, and we flew out to Colorado. And he had this really big house, and at Colorado they have the basements, but his basement was large and it was a studio. And me and my brothers, we're just going through his DATs and just trying to load them into the computers and the piano to make them work. We probably erased so much of his music, knowing what I know now. But, he passed, unfortunately, via accident. And then I started realizing that my aunt was, I had an aunt that she was very gifted gospel singer. My mom and dad, very gifted gospel singers. My brothers and I, we grew up singing in church, and I hated it when I was younger because we were good and we had to lead solos on certain Sundays. So when sports came into the picture, I gravitated to sports. It's like no more choir practice. I was good with it. So, growing up, we always played sports. I mean, I remember getting beat up by the older kids and the older guys, and I'm this young guy out there trying to play basketball with my older brother, and his friends are just bigger than me, and so you learn to play and get better at it. So, and then as an artist, my mom and everybody always were artists and drew, so I naturally had a talent for drawing and things of that nature. And so, you flash forward to where I'm at in life now, and I tell everybody, all the things that I did as a kid, I get paid to do now.
Yeah.
Which is the cool part.
That is.
And I don't know too many people that get to live that part out. Now,
right.
Mind you, you don't blink there.
No.
And that's the part that people don't see. People don't see the struggle that you go through to get to this person or this version of you.
Yep.
They don't see the jobs that you have to take. They don't see the heartaches that you have, the times that you almost lost the car because you couldn't do this or pay that. They don't see that part. They only see the good parts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at in life, and I'm very thankful for that.
So I think you're absolutely right about that, because even when people become famous, whether they're musicians or some other art, or they're screenwriters or they're filmmakers, people think it just came out of nowhere. I don't know anybody who came out of nowhere and got famous. Even if they're young, it means they started young.
This is true.
Right? And it just doesn't happen that way, because art is hard.
And I'll tell you one thing about, I know this is off topic, but
okay.
I'll say this about fame.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
If you're watching, if you're one of those people that think your life would be better if you were famous, I'm one of those people that will tell you it won't be. You got there? I walked away from it.
Really?
Some of us do. It was presented to me on several occasions. You always have the receipts for it, but we don't have to pull those out. But it was presented to me on several occasions, and I chose family over it.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot of people. Well, I do know a lot of people that would have did the same thing that I did, but I also know a lot of people that would have discarded family for fame and fortune.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. Was this as a musician?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I never played in a regular season NBA game. It's good enough to play in them. Had agents. Made a little bit of money playing overseas, so I got to see what it was like to, sign autographs and that type of stuff. But when I got into music, and I started in college, so when we got into music and I started getting really good at it, and we're doing shows I'm doing shows with people that I listen to.
That would be something.
Imagine listening to some of your favorite artists. You know the lyrics to every song.
Right.
And then years later, you're on stage performing with those people.
Who are some of those people?
Spearhead was one of my favorites.
Okay.
Dilated Peoples, Planet Asia. I've done Busta Rhymes. Old Busta Rhymes, not this new version of him. Few Wu-Tang members.
Okay.
Some, so I have. I'll stop there, but like I said, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, it sounds like
very fortunate. De La Soul was my favorite.
Okay,
they were my favorite.
Why is that?
Because they taught me the most.
Really?
Yeah, I was very young, very impressionable, and I got to do a show with them in Chico. Good friend of mine, Tony Davis, was the promoter at the time, and he got me on the show. We were all college friends, and I drove out to Chico. My DJ and I, Mason, we got there about 9 a.m. and I was on the tour bus. I was with them. They had a friend. His name was Smiley, and Smiley was the coolest person. They just paid Smiley to be around. Smiley was so cool.
You better live up to his name, too,
so,
right?
But I seen something that I never seen before. I seen a quiet and distinct power that I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
I watched 14 white guys run for these brothers, whatever they needed. So this is a true story.
That's what you saw. You never thought you'd see that, right?
Never seen it in my life.
Right.
So Maceo's in the contract, he at the time he used certain type of CDJs. They didn't have them.
Okay.
The nearest place was in Sacramento.
Oh, okay. So for anybody who doesn't know, that's about an hour and a half.
Yes. Those boys got in the car, sprinted to Sacramento, bought bread, and at that time those were going for almost $4,000 each.
Yeah.
So they had to come back with 2 of those and the mixer just to do the
man.
set. And I remember he had a cast on his hand and he was still scratched. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And so, you're standing there, you do your set, and then you're watching the likes of The Coup, Dress from Black Sheep. These are the people that are on stage, and you're right there with them.
Yeah.
And so the greatest part is the show was over, and they were like, we want to go to a club after party. So there's a spot called O'Malley's, and they were like, can you drive us?
How old are you at this point?
24, 25.
Okay, so early, mid-20s.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So maybe 26. It was in that area, right? So I remember my wife and I were dating at the time.
Okay.
So she had an Explorer, so I drove. I need the equipment. We had to get the equipment. So I'm like, babe, can I drive the Explorer? She says yes. So I drive the Explorer, and they said that it's like 1 a.m, and I'm like, these guys are asking me. These are like childhood heroes, asking me to drive them and hang out with them, and they were cool. They were down to earth. I was able to pick their brains and get so much knowledge about the industry and the art form. And so I remember I called my wife, and this is one of the reasons why I married her, but I knew she was really the one on several occasions. This was one of them. I called my wife and I said, hey, girlfriend at the time, I said, hey, De La's asking me to drive them to the club. I don't think I'm going to be home tonight. And she just said, I trust you. Have a good time.
Yeah. That's pretty special.
You know what I mean? And you don't get that very often, if you catch my point.
Yep.
So we get to the club. The line is 4 blocks long. We're at the back of the line, and they're like, come with us. We just going to walk up to the front. I'm like, all right, we're never getting in. So we walk all the way up to the front.
By the way, who was there that was causing a line that long?
De La Soul.
Oh,
they knew De La Soul was coming to that club.
Yeah, got it.
So everybody wanted to be in there,
Right.
and they might perform, and they just wanted to be around the celebrities.
Got it.
So De La, Drez from Black Sheep, my DJ, myself, Smiley, and a couple of other people. So we go all the way up to the front of the line, and the promoter's like, oh, you guys are here. And they let De La through, and we're still there. And he's like, no, they come with us too.
Yeah.
So I felt like really important.
I bet you did.
And so they're like, all right, guys, we just need.
Everybody's looking at you like, who's this guy?
Yeah, everybody was, right? So they're like, all right, guys, we just need your license.
Uh-huh.
So we're going our walls, we're pulling out our license. These fools pull out passports. They flip the passport, show them I'm like, there's levels to this.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That I'm like, okay. They're touring overseas. I'm touring city to city if I can get a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to get there.
Yeah.
That's the level I want to be at. But do I want to be at that level? What does it cost to get to that level? They got jerked around by Tommy Boy.
Okay.
They didn't own their masters that whole time.
Man.
They just got their masters back 2 years ago. And the date that they got their masters back, it was about a month or two before. Maceo didn't even get to see it. He died. Yeah. I mean, Dave didn't get to see it. Dave died.
Yeah.
So it's like you work that hard, creating artwork, and you don't. Sometimes we don't get to be there for the artwork.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's too bad. Yeah.
But I mean, he still lives on. But you don't get to be there. I mean, I always tell people Picasso or Mozart, they weren't the bee's knees back then.
No.
They were.
Nobody knew.
Nobody cared about them. They were so eccentric that they were doing pieces, Chopin, they were all doing pieces that was different from the norm.
Yeah.
So they didn't even get to play in those houses.
No, nobody wanted to accept what they did.
Right?
Absolutely.
So a lot of people don't know that. So
Yeah.
they think that, Mozart, he had to be that guy back then.
Right.
Picasso, everybody must have wanted their paintings. No, they didn't. They were eccentric.
Yeah.
Thousands, hundreds of years later, we love it and we love it.
Right.
It's what it is. We like
Right.
it. We love it. We curate it. So I say that because one day I won't be here, and hopefully the world still will be. And I hope that the music that I've had a hand in producing, creating, the films that I've had, that I'm working on, and stuff that I'm doing now in my life while I'm still here, I hope somebody picks it up one day and they say, man, this guy was really good.
Yeah.
Or this group was really good. Or this movie was really good. And I hope they say the same thing,
Yeah.
They had to be really good. Everybody must have
Everybody
loved
must have
them.
loved them, because we do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's really interesting. So then at what point did your kind of athletic career take off?
Oh, my athletic career, I mean, I was born into a family of athletes and musicians. So, like, one of my uncles played professional football. He played for the Raiders and the Packers.
Who was he?
Gary Weaver.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's my good uncle.
I remember the name.
Yeah, love him to death. He's a good man.
Yeah.
My dad was a gifted football player. My uncle told me when my dad was in the hospital here recently back in July. He told my brother and I that my dad was probably the most athletic and gifted athlete in the family.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But my dad, he never got those opportunities.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it. If you believe in a God, no God, science, nature, whatever you believe in, there was a reason why. And knowing what I know now, I kind of feel like if he would have kept playing football, he might have checked out earlier from an incident on the football field, and I wouldn't be here.
Right. What
or my
position
brothers
did he
wouldn't
play?
be here. He was a running back, but they were playing him as a safety when he was at the college in Fresno. But it just wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, you see these guys now because all the head injuries and just the horrible things that they have to go through. Yep. Yeah, I mean, just the impact.
Yep.
Yeah,
I see it. Trust me when I tell you, we see it.
Yeah.
We see it.
Yep.
So, and it's I don't want to say it's sad. It's not sad because that person gave their life to that craft for years. They put their body on the line so you can sit in a crowd and cheer or jeer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Or at least be amazed.
Or be amazed, right?
Yes. Whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I always tell people when you're sitting there watching an NBA game and you're looking at that guy on the court and you go, man, he's a bum.
Yeah.
I could beat him. No, you can't.
No way. There's no way.
I'm fortunate because I get to play against some of these people from time to time, and I hold my own. Even at this age, it's pretty, it's a good thing. It's a good feeling. But I'm telling you right now, that average NBA player that's 14, 15 on that roster would mop the floor with everybody. They made it for a reason.
Yeah.
So, those football players that you speak of, we should be way more honorable in our approach to them for what they've done.
That's a whole other topic right? About the way the NFL has treated these people. My wife works with a woman whose brother, and I can't remember his name offhand, but he's got the whole brain thing going on, and she takes care of him because he can kind of take care of himself. Yep. But he has these moments where he cannot be left alone. He just can't, and it's sad. It's sad, but at the same time, I agree with you. He put everything out there on the field for years. Yep.
So that respect level, anybody that does anything at an honorable level, at a clip, where you put that time in to show mastery at what you do, they should be honored and respected for that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of professionals. Just because you didn't turn professional in that particular league doesn't mean you're not a professional.
Yeah.
My father was a professional at everything he did. He taught us professionalism. I'm around professionals all the time. That some of them don't even know they're a professional. Yeah. I go out and I remind them, you do know they hired you because you are X, Y, and Z. So remember that at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's true. So all these different experiences, Dennis, how do you weave those into your day-to-day life as a teacher? What do you bring into the classroom for the kids?
A lot of it is woven into the fabric of what you do, because what will happen is that you don't you came up with these questions, right? Okay. And I never looked at them. Yeah. Because I want things to be spontaneous. Yep. Right? Yep. So same thing. You're in a classroom, you're teaching, and something will happen that will spark that and remind you that you have a situational story or a tell or an example to help or to deter in that instance, right? So you're pulling from the ether. And we always talk about this. Nothing's new, in my opinion. It's all found. We just know how to access it in the ether. So when you come up with that great idea, that's just the ancients.
Yeah.
They had it before. You just access the ether to grab it.
I agree.
There's
with
nothing
that.
new.
We just talked about that a little bit here, more from the standpoint of AI, because people, you're taking this, you're taking that. And talk about Mozart. Imagine if Mozart's family was around today and tried to get money back from everybody who ever took anything from Mozart.
Correct.
I mean,
they would be filthy rich. They would be probably the second or third richest family on earth.
Right. But you think about how his music and other artists have gotten into your psyche in one way, shape, or form, and somehow that comes out in some other way. It might not even be music.
Yeah. And you think about companies, since we're on that topic really quick, companies like Apple capitalized on it because they know that the Creative Commons rights go back to the people after so many years, right? So they got smart and decided to start their app. The Apple has a classical section.
Yes.
And so now they can reap the benefits of the classical music. So there's always somebody that's going to try to make a buck off of you, dead or alive.
Yeah, that is very true. So talk a little bit about the school you're at. What's that like, and what's the population of the students?
Okay. And thank you for that. Thank you for this question, because our school does not get highlighted like it should. Our school is located in North Highlands, subsection of Sacramento here. We have a population of just under 800 students. We fluctuate in between that a little over 7 to a little over 8 range.
Yeah.
We're a smaller school because there's schools around us that were built after the base closed down. We have Foothill over there, Antelope's new. You have Center just down the street, and then they're going to start building other stuff eventually as time goes on. But our situation is unique. I don't know too many schools like ours that are landlocked.
Yeah.
There are schools that are landlocked, but they're landlocked around wealthier homes and establishments,
more
right?
Absolutely.
So you think of the Jesuits of the world,
Yeah.
right? So we're landlocked in a kind of in a reverse way. So the student population that we serve, and this is one of the reasons why I've been there so long, is a population that gets underserved normally, gets forgotten about, discarded.
Yeah.
So I make it a point of being there for my students. They know that there's people like myself there that have their backs through situations, because education is family oriented.
Yeah.
I put 2 kids through high school, and I always said to myself, I would always treat somebody else's child like I would treat my own. I would hope that there would be a Mr. Weaver there for my kids, so that if they were dealing with something, they can go to that person for help and get the things that they need. And guess what? There was always that person. I met them when there was teacher meetings or at a basketball game for one of my kids or some awards thing. They would introduce themselves and tell me how great my kids are and that type of stuff. And so I felt like, and I always do feel like, giving back to where I'm at it's an honor. Is every day a good day? No. But is every day a good day anywhere?
Nope.
No. I have wonderful administration. My administration team is amazing, very supportive. The teachers there, for the most part, really do care.
Yeah.
Albeit sometimes it's misplaced, but for the most part, we all care. And I feel like the attempt is there and the trial is there.
Yeah.
But just like with anything, you always have to remember at the end of the day, we both are wearing glasses right now. So the lenses that you and I are looking through are not the same lenses that
You're absolutely right.
the other kids are looking through. So always be mindful of that and take that into consideration when you're educating, talking, speaking, helping a person that may or may not look like you, different gender, race, sexual orientation, etc. Take into consideration the lens that they have to see the world through.
Yeah. No, it's very true. Because what's interesting about the area where your school is around is that you don't have to go very far up towards Roseville and Rockland, even parts of Antelope, to where you're getting into wealthier areas.
Yes, it's literally like you go up Wallegra, and you pass, I think it's Winco. Once you start passing Winco, the houses change fast.
Absolutely. But at the same time, you could drive through the neighborhoods around your area and you wouldn't know. For the most part.
No, you wouldn't.
I mean, like any place, there's always a rundown place, but that's no matter where you're at.
But we don't consider it run down.
Right.
Like we're proud of our school.
Yeah.
Our school has undergone several different aesthetic projects. We have new fields. Our gym was redone. Classrooms.
That's great.
Paint.
Yeah.
They new awning, new different little things that they're still working on things. New HVAC systems. So they put the money in the school. Our front of our school just got redone, and I showed you that.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It rivals what you see when you pull up to Folsom.
Yeah.
So the fact that our kids now can now go to school, walk through those gates, see the beauty of this, and think to themselves, "This is my school."
Yeah,
that's the coolest part.
Yes,
I mean,
can see that. So, the kids that go through your program, Dennis, what do you think that they get out of it that can carry them on into life, regardless of whether they go into media or some other field?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I have this talk with my students daily, and every time I say I'm never going to say it again, 3 or 4 days later, guess what I'm doing? I'm saying it again. So with that being said, I tell them, don't burn bridges. First and foremost, I literally played, I'll show it to you when we're not recording. I'll show you the clip that I played for them today. Don't burn bridges. Don't know everything. I find it fascinating that these young people think they know everything, and then I think back to myself and I ask my parents and the people that know me or us, and I say, were we like that? And they'll say, sometimes you were, sometimes you weren't. But I feel like this group of young people, they think they have a knowledge that they don't have, and they don't thirst to attain that knowledge. Right?
Yep.
So what happens is right now, I'll give you like, for example, I'm a media teacher, and you'll say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to slack off in that class. I'm not going to do the work because I'll never use this again.
Right.
Okay. I said that. I did it in college. I had a Photoshop class, and in college you're on scholarship.
Right.
And in college you can't have a D.
No.
Or an F.
Nope.
Right. So I'm on scholarship. And I had this teacher, and he taught a Photoshop class on the old school Macs with the colorful backs. And this is, again, before the internet. So we had a book that was about $500 that we had to buy. It was this
Sounds
thick.
about right.
Remember?
Yeah.
It had a CD in the back with the projects in it.
Yes.
I did the bare minimum and barely paid attention, did none of the work, etc. We got to the end of the semester. He gave me an F.
Oh, man.
I walked into his office. I said, sir, I cannot take an F.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to go back home and explain to Dennis and Darlene Weaver how I messed over my scholarship. Please have mercy on me.
Yeah.
And he lit into me at this Christian school.
Really?
Yeah, he lit into me. It was the best. He lit into me.
Yeah.
It got my attention. And he made sure I understood that his time was valuable. His time was money. And I tell my kids that all the time, time is money.
Yeah.
And he told me, you know what I'll do for you? I'll give you a week. He gave me I'd already sold my book. So he gave me the book. And he said, you got a week. Well, I did like most kids do. College or not, I did like most kids do. I looked at that book. I flipped 3 pages, nothing but text and a few pictures. This is stupid. I don't want to do it. So I took the CD out the back, plopped it in. All the projects were on there, so I just took them and manipulated them a little bit and turned it into him. So I walked back into his office. He's looking through it, and he goes, Weaver, this is good, but this is horrible. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. At the same time, I'm like, well, is it good or is it horrible? He says, I know what you did. You just took the CD out the back and you plugged it in. He said, there's no way you were going to complete 15 projects in 1 week.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if you were going to try.
Yeah.
He gave me a C.
Okay.
I was thankful for the C because that means I'm not going to lose. I had A's and everything else.
Yeah.
I could not lose that scholarship. And I'm trying to be a pro athlete. And I'm dealing with all this stuff, right? I thanked them profusely. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I remember I walked out and I was like, I'll never use this again. Those were my exact words. I'll never use this again. I don't even know why he's on my case so hard, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. Flash forward to where I'm at in life, I use it all the time.
Yep.
Every day. And I wish I could go back and slap the you-know-what out of me.
Yeah.
And so I
Have you ever called that professor and said, hey, remember?
I did early on.
Yeah.
Back in my early 30s, I was able to get a hold of him. And so he's
cool.
passed on. But
Sure.
at the time, he was, we talked about that, and we had a good laugh about
Sure
it.
you did.
But that's the thing. I tell these kids, don't burn bridges. And so what'll happen is I have two types of students. They all walk the stage or don't, or get it another way. And then they get out there, and what they thought they were going to do in life doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
And they come back to being creative, and then they start running their own businesses or trying to get into a program. And I get called for credit references or letters of recommendation or help.
Yeah.
And if you were a great student and you did what you're supposed to do and you were not a problem, of course I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
But if you were the opposite, I can't help you. I got to divert that attention to somebody else.
Yeah.
Don't burn a bridge.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I think that is true no matter what industry you go into.
Mm-hmm.
Are there students that really stand out for you that have gone on to really make it?
I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll send this to him later. I text my mom daily. I communicate with my mom more now that Dad's gone, or in the physical. And one of the last things Pop told me to do was take care of your mom, make sure you keep in communication with her often as you can. And he had no idea that I already knew in my heart that if that day ever came, she would be taken care of.
Yeah.
So one day I'm on my Meta glasses and I do the tap and I said, hey, send this text message to Mom saying, hey, good morning, Mom. I love you. I'm on my way to work. I'll talk to you in a little bit. And I usually send something like that to her every morning around 8-ish or so, right? So she doesn't respond back. And usually she'll like it and respond back to me, and she's telling me she's praying for me, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's now 10:30, and this just happened like a week and a half ago. It's 10:30, and I look through my phone, and I'm like, that's weird. I never sent it. It didn't go to her. So I text her, and I said, hey, I'm sorry, this is a late text, blah, 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 whatever have you. Meanwhile, I get a text message from a young man named Miles, who's one of my students. He texts me, and he says, Mr. Weaver, I think you meant to send this to your mom. It came to me. And then he said, by the way, now Miles is close to 30 now.
Okay.
So he was one of the first students that I had that helped me build the program before the rooms even looked like that, when I only had one room, et cetera.
Right.
So he goes, I just want to show you what I've been doing. And he gave me this. I'll show you the text later, but I'll summarize it. He said, he thanked me for being the man that I am and a black male teacher because there's not enough of us. And he told me I helped shape his life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's special.
And it got me.
Yeah.
And so then I immediately stopped what I was doing. I clicked on his link, and I see all of the stuff that he's doing that's basically mirroring my life and what I did when I was his age. And it's fantastic work. And I immediately text him back with all the joy and love in my heart. And I said, boy, why am I just now seeing this? You should have been texting me and showed me this. And he said, I was afraid that you wouldn't like what I'm doing. I'm like, this is amazing.
Man. Yeah.
I need to have you come in and speak to kids.
Right.
Hell, I need to get you to do work for me.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
The videos that he's been able to do and the music videos and all the other artwork and stuff. And he's like, man, everything you taught me.
That's great.
So that that made me feel good.
So has he come into your class yet?
No, because that just happened a week and a half ago.
Okay, got it.
But
but
I will get him in eventually to talk to these kids as a speaker. He's as an alumni and a speaker. He's a good kid.
That's great.
Well, he's a grown man now. He's not a kid. He's a kid to me, but you know what I mean.
Yep. So are there anything that students have taught you?
Students teach me every day.
Yeah.
Students teach you humility.
Yeah.
Students teach you patience.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Students
teach you joy, and students teach you they teach you anger, not at them, but at their situations that they deal with and they go through.
That would be hard for me to deal with that, just because I consider myself a pretty empathetic person, and anything to deal with kids that are suffering in any way, shape, or form, man.
Yeah. So
I want to be vigilante.
Right. So I don't want to get too far out in the weeds, but you know, the current climate of things has me feeling a certain way, if you catch my point.
Yep.
But I come to work, and some days I'm trying to get them to respond. They're playing follow the leader with me with something that we're doing in a software.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting a response back, and I get in my feels, and I'm like, guys, what's the deal? Why aren't we talking? And then you find out the worst things that these kids are going through, and it just breaks your heart. And it's, you know, sometimes you turn into a mandated reporter, and then sometimes you pull up to your house, and you're looking at your house, and you're looking at what you have, and you're looking at what your kids have, and you know what some of these kids do not have. And that hurts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially when they're dealing with it. So again, that's why I make myself available for these. I'm there 6 days a week. Yeah. I make myself available for them, so they have a place. Special. They have food. They can work with the hardware and equipment that they would never have at their house. You know. Yep. I just want to make sure they have what they need. So they teach me to remember that it's okay to be kind and nice. Yeah. You know. Yep. They teach you also the latest lingo, the newest songs,
the lingo part,
the greatest snapbacks, and all that other stuff.
I mean, generationally, there's always been lingo, but this generation seems to change it more often than any prior generation.
I still don't know what in the world 6-7 means. Right. They just my kids do that. The students do it all the time. I find myself walking into that trap constantly, but whatever.
No, that's pretty fun. So I want to go just back a little bit on the creative side. What inspires you, and where do you go to get inspired to do the creative work that you do?
So that's a great question. When it comes to the musical side of it, it takes me a while to craft a song because I'm giving you a portion of my soul. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one of my business partners in my Beatsmiths group, he makes beats. He's not a performing artist. He's one of our beat makers. And so he'll send me tracks, and I might have that track for a month before I'm able to pen to it. And over time, he's understanding where I'm coming from. But at first, he would get beside himself because he wants me to crank it out right now. And I'm like, hey, bro, I have to sit with this. Yeah, I need to feel it. The words will come. Right? Yep. I listen to artists that are alike. A lot of the newer artists, they're great artists. They're just not my cup of tea. I'm not bashing them. Yeah. But vocabulary speaking, musical or beat selection speaking, we don't match up. Yeah. You know, we're not even close to being a parallel. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm going this direction, you're going that direction, and it's okay. But when I hear a beat by an artist and it just has the right soul to it, I move to tears. Yeah. When that drum hits the right way, that kick and that snare dance with each other, and that sample is woven in, and the piano that they play over the top with the bass line, it puts you in a creative space. Yeah. So if I put your song on and I get 3 bars into it and you haven't even said a word yet, and my mind is flooded with stuff to the point that I've got my phone out driving, shouldn't say that out loud, but I'm writing, that says a lot. Yeah. So same thing on the film side. I watch films differently, and I think you and I had this talk. A lot of times I have to watch a film twice because the first time I watch a film, I'm breaking it down. I'm literally dissecting that film, right? So,
and I do a really bad thing. I watch for continuity, for the lack of it. Yeah. So that clock says it's 2 o'clock, and you just said it's 7 a.m. Yeah. That doesn't match.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because the continuity aspect is something that I was urging my kids to pay attention to while they were doing their film for the SIVAs.
Yeah.
But I watch films and I'm listening to the score.
Yeah.
Or I'm listening to the type of ambiance or ambient music that is used for different scenery.
Yep.
And then I'm looking at camera moves and the way that the camera is shifting and how they're framing the camera to accent and tell the story.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So, when it's over and I go and watch it the next time, I'm watching it as a fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mentally, I've taken so many notes.
Yeah.
And then I get to my phone and I'm writing the notes down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to try that one.
Yeah.
See if that aesthetic would work if I did it with this particular shot in this particular situation. You know what I mean?
Yep. Do you have a film that's like your all-time favorite? That's like the epitome of. I mean, there's a lot of films out there, so this might be an unfair question.
It is a very unfair question, but anybody that knows me knows I'm going to say The Matrix.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The Matrix for
what
me.
What makes it that way for you?
I feel that it's more real than it is fiction. Indulge me.
Yes.
I wasn't teaching. I just got back from being overseas. I had this job working at doing one-to-one work at a treatment center, and I was working the in between that not the knock shift, but that in between swing shift from day to night.
Yeah, like 4 to midnight or something like that.
And then I'm young. I'm trying to stack money, so I'm doing a double. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm doing the knock shift, going back into the day.
Yep.
So I remember seeing the trailer for The Matrix.
Yeah.
And when it first came out, it did not wow me. I remember seeing, I didn't know who Carrie-Ann Moss was. I only knew Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Didn't really like him because he played Ike Turner at the time. That's what I remembered him in, right?
And you hated Ike Turner after
And
that.
I could not stand Keanu Reeves because his only sample size up to that point in time was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the surfing one.
I know which one you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? It'll come back to us later, but the surfing one that they redid. Point Break? Point Break.
Yep.
So that's what I knew him at.
Yeah.
My dad and mom went to see it, and I love my dad. He's like, Dennis, man, you got to go see it. It's a bad flick, man. That's how my dad talked.
Yeah.
You got to go see it. And I'm like, Dad, I don't want to see that movie. He goes, Dennis, go watch the movie. If you don't like it, I'll give you $100.
Wow. Okay.
So the theater, you got to remember, it ran in the States. When The Matrix first came out, it ran in the States for maybe a week, if 2 weeks, if that. It was not received well when it first came. It became a cult classic 3 months later.
Yeah.
The only place that I could find it playing was the Tower Theater.
Okay.
Never had been there for a movie in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm coming off of working 2 shifts. Eyes can barely stay open. I walk in, backpack on. They said, do you want anything? Yes, large soda popcorn. I walk in. I sit down in the chair. Can't make this up. I sat in the middle, and back then we didn't have assigned seating.
No.
Okay? Free for all. Wild West, right?
Yes.
Remember? Oh, no, these seats are taken. right? Okay,
the entire row?
Right. These seats are taken.
Yeah.
So there's 5 people in the theater. I'm one of them. There's a guy down here in the front. It's like we were like a domino.
Right.
One there, I'm in the middle, one behind me, one behind me.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to tell you this without saying a swear word, I promise. So the movie starts. If you haven't seen The Matrix by now, it's too late.
Right.
I don't know what else to tell you. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Watch all of them. Anyway, movie starts, and when it starts, you don't know what's going on.
No,
Some of the
it's
greatest writing, production, and shot aesthetics I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Side note, we have the technique of bullet time that's being used everywhere because of the Wachowski sisters now.
Yeah.
They created that. It's everywhere. It's in cartoons, Fast and Furious. You pick it. The bullet time is everywhere. That didn't exist. There were 2 movies that came out at the same time. It was that one, and it was one with Christian Bale. It was a Technogrammatron. He was I'll tell it to you later. But they both came out at the same time. The Matrix did better than that one, and they were very similar movies.
Oh,
Dystopian.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it.
I don't know.
But they took a pill, and you could not have feelings. It was very much Fahrenheit.
Wait, I don't even remember
like
that.
Fahrenheit
Yeah.
451.
Yeah.
I'll think of the name in a minute.
Yeah.
But beside the point, The Matrix had the technology. that they didn't have.
Right.
It was both movies are great, but this was the one.
Yeah.
So the scene starts. The guy says, "Don't give me that my addiction crap."
Right.
And then the guy says, "They're already dead." And I'm sitting there like, what are we talking about? What is this? And they go in the room. You see her in the incredibly black leather outfit,
Yeah.
hands here, and they say, "Get up." And she jumps out the chair backwards.
I remember that. Yeah.
The camera spins around. I remember, it's
Yes.
never been done in movie theater,
Right.
in movie history.
Yep.
Camera spins around. I scream, "What the, you know what?" Popcorn, my popcorn's flying. I'm standing up. I'm looking at the theater like, what am I watching? Now, remember, I told you I was dog tired.
Right.
I watched her kick a dude, run up the wall, come back around in the guy's face, kick him, and drop everybody. I'm screaming, "Holy, you know what?" The guys are like, "Sit down."
Sit down,
I'm
idiot.
like, "Did you see what I just see?"
Right.
They're like, "Yes, I've seen it 4 times. This guy, I've seen it 5. I've seen it 3. I've seen it 4. Well, this is my first time.
Yeah.
I went from being tired to sitting on the edge of my chair
Yeah.
for the whole movie. When it was over, I was in tears because I finally realized that somebody had the same thought process as I did.
Interesting.
I tell my kids every day,
Yeah.
how do you know you're awake? Even right now, the two
Right.
of us are talking. How do you know? Oh, because you slap.
Their minds
yeah.
go.
Yeah, because you slap your hand and you pinch
Yeah.
it. How do you know you're awake? Like,
Yeah.
remember, digital residual self-imaging. You woke up. That's what your mind said you should look and dress like. How do you know we're not in a chamber cell somewhere? I mean, we're at the beginning of the Matrix now, if you think about it.
Yeah. I could see it. I could see it.
So, but anyway,
No, I could.
That's my. But
that's your
but
best.
the philosophy behind the movie.
Yeah.
They put a lot of philosophy and storytelling behind bullets and karate. And
Yeah.
if you want to get a guy to watch and listen to philosophy,
Put
add a few bullets and karate. Yeah.
That is so true. That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, I know you and I could keep talking for quite some time here.
Yes, sir.
But we'll wrap this up. So thank you.
Thank you
for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. I do like that idea of the podcast, though. We need to
we need to talk
we need
about
to do
we'll
that.
that.
I think that's
we'll
a good
do that
idea.
After. I do too.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for this episode of Lights, Camera, Learn. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch us on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and also on our website, secctv.org. You can also support us on Patreon by clicking on Lights, Camera, Learn. And until the next episode, make it a great day. Thank you.